Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Paranormal Lens, sponsored by Jott-Nyx Paranormal. I am Jamie Widener. I will be your host this evening, and as always, I am joined by the co-hostess with the mostest, Mr. Chad Thomas.
Hey everybody, how are you?
Ooh, hey, we're back, right?
We are.
Goodness, it's the longest 2 weeks of my life, I think. In a good way, but
Mhm.
all kinds of fun stuff happened. The holidays. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas holiday season, a happy New Year so far, at least. Um, I saw someone today post something I thought was very funny. It said, I'd like to cancel my subscription to 2025. My 7-day free trial is over. I'm not interested. So um,
Yeah.
this is right about the time I give up the resolution. So I totally understood how they felt.
Well, I
Um,
I got ahead of that, Jamie. I didn't make any
I
resolutions.
didn't either. I
I
didn't
didn't
either.
give them up.
It's just I've been burned too many times, man. Just burned
Mhm.
too many times.
Yeah.
Even if you do, like, this is what we talk about all the time here. Like, the stops and starts of things. Sometimes you give your best effort, an obstacle comes up, a challenge, or something. It's okay to pause for a minute. Just don't give up.
Right.
Get back to it,
Yep.
and that's where we are. So
Yep.
it's never too late to start a resolution either.
This is true. And we're glad to have our friends back. I mean,
Hey, here's that Burt Lynch guy. Yeah, we missed you too, buddy. All right.
speaking of friends back, Jamie,
Yes.
my Facebook, something happened to it. I got locked out of it. I don't know. I'm not exactly completely sure what happened. So I
Okay.
got to rebuild from
Oh
ground
boy.
zero. So any of my friends out there,
Well,
search for me and try to find me.
If if you gotta rebuild your lost contacts, I'm sure it's not gonna be hard to find all 3 of them, so
Uh, you're right.
I'm
You
one of them, so there you are, you're
got
you're
some more to go.
you're a third of the way.
Mm.
You can do it.
So
I
anyway,
believe in you.
yeah. So Jamie, how were your
That's like the worst, though, it really is, and, whether you're hacked or whatever the case may be, like, when someone takes that away from you, like the contacts, even your phone, like, if
holidays?
you lose your phone and even just to misplace it, not to totally lose it, and, you gotta reach somebody, like, it's that moment of oh shit panic, right?
Right.
So I get it. I totally get it. And,
Mhm.
and I'll please, if you know Chad, reach out to him and give him a friend request. And it's legit. He's here to
Yeah.
tell us. So
Yeah. So,
sorry,
but
buddy.
Jamie,
Sorry
how
to
were your
happen.
holidays?
But not bad. Not bad. I got, I got through them. So that's important.
Uh-huh.
Um, we all still talk to each other here. So um, I think that's a win,
It's a
right?
good start. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Um, for me, like Christmas as you get older isn't Christmas like it was when you were a kid. So, like the whole thrill of opening gifts and stuff like that, it's more the enjoyment of watching others do
Hmm.
their thing. We still have the teenagers in the house, so some of the Santa mystery mystique is gone, long ago. But
Uh-huh.
there's still the idea of like just the wow moment of just opening a gift and giving the gift as well. They're understanding that now too, which
Right.
is really really cool.
Yeah.
The importance of it,
Hmm.
and the selection of that gift and why it would mean something to someone. So
Yeah.
it's really cool.
And it's interesting how one of them wants to spend all their money on gifts, and the
Yeah.
other wants to spend other people's money on gifts.
Yes, exactly true. That is very very true.
You know how that one plays out.
I do, and it's just because it's my money. Yes, yes. How about you? How are things on your
Yeah.
side?
Yeah, quiet. It was a quiet holiday season, and that's good too. So, I got to see friends, family, and all that stuff, but it wasn't over the top, and it was nice.
Fantastic.
Hmm.
Calm and easy is my speed these days. Like I spent all kinds of time. Like early when when I was a young adult, I worked in retail, and a lot of people did, right?
All right.
First job kind of thing or early jobs, and you're so burnt out by Christmas stuff, the holiday rush, and then you work long hours, you don't make much, and then you got to go find gifts on top of the time you've already spent, like say at the mall or
Right.
whatever your establishment is. Last thing you want to do. It's like being in the food industry. Last thing you want to do sometimes is go eat out, because you're around food all the time.
Hmm.
Like it's that and finally getting to the place where it's calm again, is beautiful. So I hear you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And I had 6 days of use it or lose it vacation time.
I remember you
So,
telling me this. Yeah.
yeah. So I took the 2 days the week before Christmas, to Thursday, Friday off, and then the whole week of Christmas because that was there's a holiday in there, so it was like 2 days plus 4, and I
Hmm.
had 11 total days off, and that really helped stabilize the things that needed to get done. It didn't stop the Christmas Eve run to Target for a change in dinner plans for Christmas Day. It was for 6. Uh,
Uh-huh.
but, that's such another story for another time. Um, and I learned how to make ricotta because I forgot to buy it for lasagna, that night. So I'll tell you
Interesting.
that time too, but,
Hmm.
it's surprisingly easy, and it actually is really, really good. So I'm now
Okay.
a cheese person. I know how to make cheese. I've mastered cheese.
There you go. That's all
I
you
moved
need.
up one step.
Yep. Put the
So
paranormal career aside, Jamie. You've got
I'm
cheese.
done. Yeah, this is it. It's my last episode. So, I'm going to be a professional ricotta maker. I'm gonna be the ricotta man. Ricotta mata? I don't know.
Don't quit
No,
your day
no,
job.
I'm not. I can't afford to. Don't worry.
So,
There's
so
no money in cheese.
yeah, yeah. So
But
anyway,
anyway, I'm sorry to rumble and bumble through all of that, but uh, let's figure out what we're here for, right? So
well,
the
we'll say hi to Kyle first.
oh, hey Kyle, good evening. Sorry I missed you there. Welcome, Happy New Year, Merry Holiday, all that good stuff to you, sir. We haven't seen you in a while, and we are due to visit you sometime soon. So we'll keep at looking for dates. Ah, there it is. Yeah, thanks,
Mhm.
Bert. We knew you were cheesy. Yeah, and it's not hard to figure out. So now I just proved it.
Yep,
So
yep. So,
uh,
yeah,
I'm
Alex has been talking about wanting to make a trip over to White Hill.
yep.
So definitely got to
Well,
get
we have at least one a year, right? So,
that.
and now is the time to start planning while things are calm and quiet. Generally speaking.
Hmm.
So, and there's a hopefully a full schedule of the year ahead of us. So, yeah, and we have a couple trips planned already. We know that we'll talk more about those when we get closer,
Yep.
come April or so. But um, and then later in the summer. But you can always squeeze in White Hill. You know,
Hmm.
and that's the cool thing, and it's such a great spot. If anyone hasn't been to it in Phillipsburg, New Jersey, I highly recommend it. I think I've investigated there 5 or 6 times. Never disappointed. Always something.
Hmm.
Uh, you're not going to see stuff fly off the shelves. Probably not anyway. Might fly off the wall. Um,
We've had
as we
that happen.
found as we found but it's an active location that's just really run by great people who are trying to work on preserving it. So
Hmm.
shameless plug there for you guys, and Kyle, thanks for joining us and starting out like conversation. So speaking of creepy things, right? So let's turn the paranormal lens tonight to the art world,
Okay.
and specifically a painting called The Woman of the Rain. Now, Chad, I'm going to ask you like I always do you know anything about this topic?
Um, very little. I know it is a creepy painting to
You
look
saw a
at.
picture, that's why.
I did,
You saw what it
and
looks like, yeah.
it
Well,
it makes
it is that, it's
it makes
fair.
me feel uneasy when I look at it. To be honest with you.
Yeah, well, there's more to it than that. So,
Mhm.
it's honestly, it's a fairly, new thing in the world,
Okay.
as far as when it was created and the tale of it, and the lore that's created. It's honestly not old at all, but, it's gained quite a reputation. So, um
You ready to show it to everybody?
Not yet, not
Okay.
yet.
Mm.
So before we dig too deeply here, I want to put a slight disclaimer on tonight. I spent the weekend with a head cold and started Friday, kind of wrapped itself up Sunday, yesterday even. So there may be a time or two when I have an attack of coughing or snorting and sniffing, all that stuff. Not snorting, that's something totally different. Um, yeah, Anyway, I will try to mute myself because we are a live podcast. I'm apologizing in advance if it happens. I will try to minimize, and I certainly don't want to be doing it in your ear because I don't want you to do it in mine if we were going the other way. So bear with me. I will get through this though. So now, without further ado, let's talk about the Woman of the Rain.
Okay.
So in 1996, this is why I'm saying it's not that long ago. Well within our lifetimes, a woman named Svetlana Telets had just graduated from Grevlov Odessa Art Institute in Odessa, Ukraine, and she was looking to embark on a career as an artist. Little did she know that her first work would be a very memorable one. This is the year that she created an oil painting called Rain Woman, originally, which later became known as the Woman in the Rain and later still as the Woman of the Rain. Chad, here she is. The Woman of the Rain is in the expressionistic style and depicts a single woman who is seen roughly from the waist up, who is elongated and slightly distorted. The background depicts a stormy gray sky, alluding to a storm, with elongated droplets of rain in the foreground, hence the title. The woman is dressed in all black and is wearing a wide brimmed hat, and her eyes are downcast, and she has an emotionless expression. This is creepy enough, right? Like, just
Uh-huh.
kind of odd, a little different. Not something I would say haunts me or is paranormal,
Right.
but there is a lot more to the story. And it starts with how the piece came to exist. So I said in 1996, Levana Tellitz claims to, and she claims to have felt something strange happening to her about 6 months before creating this painting. At first, she started seeing white flashes of light in the corner of her vision, but when she looked, there was nothing there. Also, she began to feel that something was always watching her. One day, Tellitz says she felt something guide her hand, and in less than 6 hours, she had painted Rain Woman.
Hmm.
Pretty quick for a painting.
Mm-hmm.
So, what happened next is interesting. Tellitz reworked the painting for about a month and then placed it up for sale at a local art shop in nearby Venezia, also in the Ukraine.
Okay.
People were drawn to the strange and mystical painting, and it was bought and subsequently returned over and over. The reason for the numerous returns were claims of insomnia and anxiety as soon as the paintings came into a home. Others had excessive headaches, and all felt that they were being watched, while not just in the presence of the painting.
Hmm.
So, some tales from those folks who bought the painting.
Okay.
The first owner that bought the painting was a businesswoman, in some sources named Larissa, and she hung the painting in her bedroom. But it wasn't long before she tried to get rid of the painting, as she constantly had feelings of someone watching her and another presence in her house despite her living alone. She even rang Svetlana Telets and complained to her about the Rain Woman. Please pick her up. I cannot sleep. It seems that there is someone in the apartment besides me, and I even took it off the wall and hid it in my closet. The painting was returned.
Mm-hmm.
The second buyer. It was sold to a second buyer which was a young man, in some sources named Eugene, that hung it in his living room and wasn't really a big believer in the strange stories surrounding the painting, which now had spread. But also, he didn't take long before he started to experience strange things about the painting and decided to get rid of it after about a month. I dream of her, he says. Every night, she appears and follows me like a shadow, he said as he was giving it back to Slavana. Starting to see a pattern here?
Mm-hmm.
The third. The painting was sold to a third buyer that claimed that he had seen the woman depicted in the Rain Woman somewhere and thought that they would get along without any problems. That's
Yeah.
that's ambitious, right?
Mhm.
I think I know her. We're cool. But that turned out to be a mistake, as he also felt uneasy around her. He claimed that her white eyes started to appear everywhere, and he got the scary feeling that he would end up drowning in them.
Okay.
The painting was returned. So, for years, the Rain Woman hung in a furniture salon in Venezia that was trying to sell it, but without much luck. Customers of the shop claimed to be dreaming about the woman in the picture after visiting, and claimed to sort of know her, but were unable to place her. This was a claim of one of the previous purchasers.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, this is not very long off from the actual release of this painting to sale, so we're talking about a couple months. And later in 1996, Sletvana claimed that she was in no hurry to get rid of the painting, and that she believes that there is an owner somewhere that is meant to have her. Well, perhaps the painting found its final owner. After 11 years, so we're now moving forward to 2007,
Uh-huh.
the search for an owner was found. A musician, that's a tongue tie. Musician named Sergei Sakchako felt strongly that the picture belonged with him. He tracked the painting down after reading an article about it and accepted the rumors the painting had an evil presence. The painting traveled home with him to Russia, where it was hung in his office. According to Sergei, he is not afraid of the painting or the hauntings it is said to have and has no plans of returning it. Should be the end of the story, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Not so fast.
Of course not.
Of course not. So it appears after some time with the painting, Sergei and his wife started having marital issues, and they would quarrel over the simplest of things and trivial items. Also, interestingly, the appliances in their home all started to break or malfunction, including a toaster that was fresh out of the box. Never worked. While marital issues come and go and things tend to break, the deeper issue was that Sergei's wife was having trouble sleeping and often awoke with a deep feeling of fear. This culminated when she awoke one night and experienced sleep paralysis, but clearly saw someone moving around their apartment. The person was tall, thin, and was wearing a wide brimmed hat. Cue the creepy music.
Hmm.
So, not long after, Sergei went on tour with his band, and when he returned, the painting was gone. The story goes that his wife had the painting removed and refused to tell Sergei what had happened to it. Still to this day, and right, I don't blame her, right, at this point.
Right.
Still to this day, the exact location of the woman in the rain is a mystery. Some say Sergei's wife hid it in another property they owned. Others say it's back in a shop in Venezia, awaiting to be bought again. No one knows.
Road trip.
Well, it's a plane trip, right? We're going to the Ukraine.
Yeah.
But yes, yes, let's go find this thing. So uh, that's the story. That's the deep of it.
Okay.
So what could this be? Right? Let's
Yeah.
be objective. So the premise that Svetlana was, pun intended, drawn to create this piece makes me think of the concept of automatic drawing,
Right.
which is much like automatic writing,
Hmm.
which we've covered, where the creator simply puts pen to paper and lets the creative process begin.
Right.
The outcome is unknown to them until it's done. Could this have happened and the painting flowed naturally from her, or could her creation be the work of some supernatural? I think that's the debate.
Right.
Also, I find it interesting that the first three customer stories are first name only, and there are generalizations about the buyers, and there is no specific information about any of the clients.
Right.
But since his full name was provided, I did check up on Sergei Skachko, Skachko. It's a very Russian name,
Yeah,
and,
that's easy for
and
you to say.
I know, right? I didn't say it well either. So it turns out he's actually a legitimate rock star who is pictured quite often playing a guitar because that's what rock stars play, right?
Yeah.
You know, back in the day. So, but he's a legit person. He's around 68 years old, currently alive, still living in Russia. So part
Okay.
of the story is
There's
a
provenance
source of
there. Yeah.
validation.
Yeah.
Also, and this is the most interesting thing, I find it hard to believe that Svetlana Telets does not have a presence on the interwebs, like at all. She doesn't have a Facebook page. There's no
Right.
website. She just doesn't have a presence. I could not find a picture, a biography, or any other works of hers. Nothing. I even had one of the teenagers in the house who is way more tech savvy than I try to find her, really to no
Right.
avail. She found an interview that was many years old, but still
Hmm.
no more. So to
Okay.
kind of put a bow to that, I have a few thoughts.
Okay.
To me, the most curious thing about The Woman in the Rain is that the story is so fantastical that it seems like it has to be true, which, Chad, based on our past experience, leads me to believe that this could be an urban legend.
True.
I'm not saying it is, but just that it could be.
Right.
We don't know where the painting is. I can't find a print of it anywhere.
Would
You
you
know, we
really want a print of it though?
well, I mean, kind of, maybe. I mean, I wouldn't let anyone know it's here because it wouldn't last long, but you know, um, but even still, it's
Hmm.
this is the accepted visualization of the painting,
Right.
and You can't just go buy a print of it though. And that's not terribly unusual because it's an original piece of work. It's not now to the mass market. I get it.
Right.
But it also kind of adds to some of this weirdness of the case because, the artist is kind of shadowy as well and,
Hmm.
really doesn't have a presence either. So it kind of makes you go, if it does exist, is the woman of the rain truly haunted, or could the buyer's reactions be some kind of psychosomatic response, given that there's a reported history of people having issues with the piece? Someone tells you you're going to, be sick, you become sick, right?
Right. But the first person didn't have that issue. Yeah.
I,
Like, you
but
know,
did the first person have an issue? Maybe
right.
the first person could have had a significant that said, "I don't like this. Take it back." Maybe,
True.
you know. I mean, stories spread.
Hmm.
And I think most importantly here, why didn't Svetlana tell it to have a no refund, no return policy on the painting in the first place?
Right.
Buyer beware, man. Take it, it's yours.
I don't know, but I think when an artist is attached, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's something they create, they
Sure.
don't mind getting it back.
Yeah, I see that. And and that's part of it too. Like, we have artists around us. We
Hmm.
know people who are artists and creators.
Hmm.
I mean, technically we're creators, right? Because we're doing this.
Correct.
So, eh, you want to be proud of your work, you want to stand by it. I get it. You want to put something forward, and you want to have good faith and goodwill. At the time, we're talking back in 96. She was a graduate of university, so very young, didn't maybe know the ropes, if you will,
Right.
of how to handle the process of selling pieces. Probably didn't have an agent or a broker or somebody. It was hanging in a salon or a furniture store. Sorry.
Mhm.
Um, so it didn't have a gallery showing. So maybe it was just that, and that was just the way it had to be. Maybe she got some bad advice too.
Maybe. Yeah.
You know, sell you bring it back, sell it again. It'll sell.
Hmm.
And obviously it has. So and by all accounts, there are a lot of stories related to this to her, but there is no proof, kind of thing. But one of them says that she is an accomplished artist who has won awards and so forth. I could not find those awards, interestingly, and the art college that she attended, the institute, has a list of alumni, and she is not listed on it. But if she were successful, I would think they would put her there. So I'm torn here, like
Right.
between which way this goes. Um, but I think it's a very fascinating story, and it's been around for since '96. Now we're nearly 20 years, 30 years. I'm sorry, in to this urban legend,
Right.
if it's that, or this true story, if it's even that, and that's fantastic.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So before we discuss, let me cite some sources.
Hmm.
A couple here. The first is the ghostinmymachine.com. Next is moonmausoleum.com and grevovka.com.ua, which is the art institute, because they had some other stuff there I found. So, um, what do you think here, Chad? What do you got?
Well, I find it interesting that there's no trace of her anywhere. So, did she even create this? Does she even exist as a person, or is this a very well perpetuated? That's not the right word, but
Crafted?
crafted hoax. Uh, I don't know. I mean, looking at this, somebody had to create the art, or something had to create the art. I mean,
Yep.
nowadays you could say it could be done by AI, but in '96, if that's when it actually came out, there was no AI to create that.
Right.
As Bert said, like, I get a very uneasy feeling looking at it. So,
Yeah, there's something, and I think it's in the elongation of the body and the width of the hat. Like it's not
I
angular.
for no for me it was the gray, the background, like
Okay.
that was what I don't know. It just, like, I was prepping this at work the other day, and just it was like I got queasy looking at the background. So
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I know what you're getting for Christmas this year. and it's just far enough away you're going to forget we did this. So
Uh-huh. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like the fact that there's just no information out there about her or any other work or like a print or just, that just makes it as you makes you want to go
it
So,
does, and in that way, we're gonna when we get closer to it, we'll talk more about an upcoming episode. But we have a Tuesday night falling on April 1st this year, so we'll have an episode on April Fool's Day,
mhm.
and I'm going to talk that night about paranormal hoaxes. You know, things
Okay,
that have been proven to be untrue. And I can't say this is going to make that because it can't because it hasn't been proven. But
right,
this falls in that direction for me. I want to believe this story. I want this to be a true thing, but everything about it just shakes the wrong way for me.
right.
And I'm gonna, I've said this many, many times over all these episodes, but I'm a skeptic. So that's part of
Mhm.
it for me. I need something more provable. And the fact that even if it did exist, it's disappeared, just adds to the like, really?
Right.
Like you said, things that make you go,
Yeah.
I I can't I can't just absolutely say, sure, yes, I want to. I mean, I think I do for everything we cover.
Right.
And, in the field in general, I want to believe that there is something happening at the places we are, but I want to find the other things that it could be first that are normal before I call it a paranormal thing.
Right. Hmm.
And I think that's fair. Right? I think we are responsible that way. We have that responsibility. Otherwise, we're ghost hunters and just chasing shadows, and that's fun and
Right.
all, but it's not what an investigator does. I think we have a different place, and what we
Hmm.
do is Jott-Nyx paranormal, and a different responsibility. Then, therefore,
Correct. Yep.
and you've been to art galleries, I'm sure, and I have, I can say, and I could stand in front of a painting for quite a while, and even as time would pass, just moments of time, not hours by any means, but I can have different emotions about a painting just looking at it and details of it, as I
Right.
absorb it. Um, I think the way this piece is, if it's true, and assume it is because we're looking at an image, assuming that it has that ability, that's fantastic. I mean, that's just really good art.
Hmm.
If it can give you an emotion while you're looking and absorbing and enjoying the time with it. Now, the problem is, of course, that it's not a joyful feeling. It's not a happy or encouraging thing. It's kind of dreadful and
Right.
dark and it's a little scary.
Right.
Uh, For me, too, the third story, well, actually the fourth story, I'm sorry, with Sergey and his wife, if she truly awoke at some point and saw a physical manifestation of this painting walking around their house or their apartment, I'd be gone like the next day. I'm like, dude, we're out, you
Right.
know? Uh, and it makes me wonder this. If that happened here, has this happened elsewhere? So bear with me.
Okay.
Imagine an art gallery where at night paintings come off the wall, come to life. And then there's one caretaker guy, security guard, who stumbles upon this. So it's like a paranormal version of Night at the Museum.
Right.
What do you think? We're going to have to write this. Somebody help us. We're going to write this out. We're going to sell it. We're going to get rich. Right?
Uh huh.
It's where it's at. Or somebody's going to steal it now they've said it out loud. Whatever. That's cool.
Yep. No,
You
it's
know,
recorded, Jamie. We got a bunch of
what's true. We do have rights. Okay. But and also then, if I get that Sergey's wife wanted this gone, but how long, if that happened to you, how long would you keep this piece?
Well, we're into this, so and I live all but alone most of the time, so it would be I
Oh, it's
wouldn't
just
have any.
company. Long as she did like the cleaning and stuff, and picked up after herself, other people, did some dishes, right?
Right, right.
Um,
So yeah, I
next thing
wouldn't
you
mind.
know,
Any.
next thing you know, you've got DoorDash there all the time. Um, what's going on?
Interesting. Yeah.
I know how long it would last here, and
Hmm.
it'd be that night. It'd be gone.
It'd be out the
It'd be
window.
outside somewhere,
Yeah.
but that's to me that's a curiosity, and like
Hmm.
we're going to talk more about some other haunted objects later this year,
Hmm.
in a couple weeks even. But what what my curiosity is what drives people to keep these type of things once they know something's happening with it.
But
You
not
know?
only that, but what makes people seek them out? Because there's people out
Oh,
there looking for these
well, true.
things.
That's this guy, the Sergey guy.
Right.
He came. I mean, not Ukraine. We know this, right? We have world conflicts going on between Russia
Hmm.
and Ukraine right now, so we know they're border neighbors. And but I don't know exactly where he came from in Russia. It's a big place,
Right.
and Venetia is in the center of the Ukraine, so he had to come some distance, to get to this opportunity. And
It was a long road trip.
it probably was a road trip. I can give him that,
Right.
but it wasn't a day trip, most likely. So he invested, he
Uh-huh.
researched it, he found out about it, he invested time to figure it out, what it was, and then came after it.
Hmm.
That's a curiosity in its own right.
Hmm.
And we have a team member, right, who has allegedly haunted object in
This is
their
true.
possession. So I think when we get to that, we might want to engage him. And for those who know us, it's David, dear media, our dear friend and former co-host. So,
Hmm.
Dave, if you're out there and you hear this, we're probably going to have to talk next time I see you about stuff like that. So, and what's going on with that object. So, but it takes me to there's a fellow named Johnny Zaffis,
Hmm.
who has been around for a very long time in the field. He's very well respected. Uh, that was what he wanted to do. His niche in the paranormal field is going to find and being made aware of, and then going to capture or claim paranormal objects,
Hmm.
from people who simply couldn't deal with it anymore.
Right.
And he has a museum, I believe it's in his home, if I'm not mistaken, in the basement of his
Right.
home,
I believe
with
you're
all
right.
these objects in it. I mean, and
Well,
he had a run of a show for quite a few years, so he's out there. You certainly Google him. He's a great guy, actually. He's still very active in the field.
yep.
Um, that I don't know where I'd be there.
Right. Well, and the
I mean,
Warrens, didn't they have the same thing? Don't they're
yes.
I think their museum is now being managed by some relative of theirs. Um, I think it travels more than anything because they aren't allowed to have it in the home that it used to be in, by edict of the township or something along those
Yeah,
lines.
somebody get wise. And with that's not my backyard right there. Forget we can have a Walmart, but we can't have a haunted museum. Um,
Uh-huh.
you know, eh, that's a special kind of person,
Right.
who is willing to do that. And I think from my perspective with the paranormal field, we want to help people if
Right.
we can. If we're made aware, we'll do whatever we can to help, alleviate the situation. If the item needs to be removed, find a place for it to be. But it I don't know that would be coming home to me.
I pretty much know it's not coming home to you,
Well,
Jamie.
yeah, we both know that. Okay, yeah. My significant other would not let that through the door.
I think
Um,
we all know where it would end up.
yeah, your house, right?
No, no, no.
No, no. Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't mind, but I think somebody would actually gravitate towards it and want to take it. So,
Yeah, you're probably right.
so
So, but that there's a couple things here that are just I'd love some more detailed explanation, like some more information and
mm,
some more thought and conversation around it. So we'll try to get to there for the next couple 2 weeks. I believe we're going to do Robert the Doll,
right,
another haunted object, a famous haunted object at that. So maybe we can pull some of that together. But this one is just wonky,
yeah,
and that's what drew me to it. It caught my eye and ear. It's been covered on other podcasts out there, so we're not unique to this one.
right,
Um, but it is one of those things where as long as I've been aware of it, it's just really interested me, and um, I really would like an explanation, like something more than the fuzziness of it. It's
right,
very kind of shadowy,
hmm,
and that makes it perfectly paranormal, right?
right,
But we also want some answers.
yeah, hmm, interesting. So, but I think everybody's getting tired of looking at it, Jamie. So,
What's scarier, it or us?
well, yeah, there is that. So, but of course now it's in my vision because I've taken it off the main screen. It's on my
You are so welcome.
So,
Well, it's funny. I was going to print out like a F11 version of it, and then
uh
now I'm going to. And it's going to find its way over to your house at some point with
yeah,
a prisoner transfer of the kids. So,
uh-huh.
uh,
I appreciate that so much, Jamie.
I'm here for you. I really am.
So,
Don't say when, but it might make it. I'll probably forget. You know me.
yeah. So,
All right,
anyway,
sir.
yeah,
So
that was interesting.
that's all I got. I mean, obviously, I'm happy to continue the conversation, but I really just want some more.
Hmm.
Until we find it. Maybe
Yeah,
we'll revisit later.
yeah. I do think you should make a printout too, and put it in some of Bert's gear next time he's with us on an investigation.
I could do that. All right.
So, well, thanks for doing the research on that, Jamie. It's definitely opens. It asks more questions than it answers, doesn't it?
Yes. And most things paranormal do, right?
Right.
So that
Exactly.
makes it perfect for us.
Right. So,
Cool. All
so,
right. What else we got?
let's see. We've got.
Yeah, for those who are listening and not watching, Bert said not funny. Um, and it is. It's very, very funny. It'll be
uh,
even more funny later on.
let's see. Upcoming episodes. We've got. Who? Sorry. Again, it's on. It's on a screen that I can't see real well right now. We've got Hoodle Folk next week. Robert the Doll. The week after that, the Philadelphia experiment on the 28th of January. Hans Holzer on February 4th, and The Green Children of Woolpit is February 11th. So it's a 6 weeks worth of stuff to look forward to. So it's it's definitely some interesting things coming up. Um,
I'm just looking forward to you say hodl folk like 30 times next week.
yeah. Um, Something new that we not new, something that we haven't really brought up before, but we wanted to start sharing is private investigations at Booby's Brewery. If you're interested in that, there's information here. You can reach out to Melissa Keller, and her information is on this slide, or you can reach out to us by any of our ways, and we will
Yep.
connect you with Melissa. Um, it's a They have so many different packages available. You can get rooms, you can get different time frames. It's usually a Friday night, if I remember correctly. But
Yeah, most of the
it's
weekend opportunity. Yep.
but yeah, you can rent out the hotels, stay up there, investigate. And if you want somebody to come along, you can probably talk one of us into it. um, just let us know. But anytime you can investigate Booby's Brewery, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Especially private investigations when it's not a lot of people. Uh, Sometimes you get more on those, but so it's definitely worth it.
Well, you control the crowd.
Hmm.
You know who you're investigating with. And when public events, anyone who's been in a public event, you don't know everyone. You're going to know your group,
Right,
but others, and that's not a bad thing by any means. I think
right.
it's actually good, to cross over with others.
Hmm.
Um, and see how I did that? Cross over with others.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is if it's not your thing, not your jam, then the
Right.
private events are great.
Yep.
And I say this all the time. If you do the hotel package or the Airbnb, which is the Malt Baron Mansion across the street,
Hmm.
Mountjoy is more fun when you sleep over.
Yep. So, just want to throw this comment up from Bert. Shame there isn't more from the artist,
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
just to see if
I'm sure there is. It's
Mhm.
just challenging to find and not a commercial sense of
Right.
what he's offered.
And I mean the towns that that you listed are not big towns in Ukraine. Like they're not the ones that So
Right. Exactly.
it's hard to say. Let's see. This is a long awaited list, Jamie.
All
But
right. Here
here it
we are.
is.
Finally. Drum roll.
Um, I bet we could have had the sound effect
We,
too.
we actually have that. Hold on one second. I will give it to you.
I beat you to it. There we go. Oh, and the applause. So the tentative schedule has been released for Booby's Brewery this year. We have a team investigation because it's been so long since we've been in there. Um, the team's going to get together this weekend and investigate. And then starting on February 22nd, we're going to be back to once a month at the brewery. We've got a couple 2 events in a month, at least in October.
Yep.
We're also doing something new this year. We don't have all the details worked out, but we've got a couple para unity events where we're going to team up with another team and or investigator and work through and investigate with them. So I think that's an important thing to do in the community is start sharing investigations and working together because there's so much right now in this field where it's not unity, it's tooth and nail, but it's important to become that unified group, and we're all in this together.
Yeah. And sharing is caring.
Hmm. So
I'm talking to the kids again when they're like little.
so next week we will have that so you can read it a little bit better, but February
Lot.
22nd, March 22nd, those are the next two public investigations, so check it out.
Tickets are available. Start booking it.
Not yet,
Oh,
but
oh, that's right. The link's not quite up. Sorry. I
but
hold that thought.
yeah, but
But mark your calendar at least.
yeah. So
We'll get you there.
So, and then here's our typical how you can find us. Facebook, TikTok. Actually, I've got to change that. There's an update to our TikTok.
Ooh,
Um, some things happened that we didn't have access to that either. So now there is a new TikTok address that I will get posted for us.
okay.
It just got released today, actually. So
There we
we
are.
will get that up there.
There we
And but
go.
email us at paranormallenspodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on Spotify or Linktree or any of those things.
Yep.
So yeah.
And shoot us a message. We are, again, looking at content coming up, but with that, we are certainly open and able to do listener submission requests. We've done several over the last year and a half that we've been doing this. So, um, paranormal lens podcast at gmail.com. Drop us a line. Any of the socials, drop us a line. Hey, look, you should do this. Or I
Mhm,
have this great story. If it's your story, feel free to share it with us. We'll
mhm.
cover it.
Yep,
We're certainly not against it. And
yep.
we can be flexible with what's coming up on our calendar. We self-produce, so
Yeah.
we can do
Oh,
what we want,
and
kinda.
yeah,
Anyway,
and, Jamie, I've heard say Paranormal Lens actually has a TikTok now as well.
get the what?
Yeah, we're in the Tiki Talkies now, Jamie,
The TikTok,
the TikTok.
the
So,
TikTok.
um,
Oh
and
man, I'm old.
speaking of that, flexibility, I think you and I both have said that there's a couple stories that we need to go, um, rework, because of changing information.
Yes.
I think you said Ogopogo. There's been some recent discoveries on that.
Yep. Absolutely.
Um, and I've been following some stories on Wilson Castle where they have gotten information that has contradicted what was published, and somebody's gone and done a great deal of research and found out information on the original family. So I'm really looking forward to finding out what that is and doing an update to what we've reported in the past. And we can always go back and report more on White Hill Mansion, things like that. So
Yep.
you may see some things coming back. It's not that we're running out of things to do. It's just there's more information out there every day.
Yeah. And the interesting thing, and I've said this so many times before, but there are no walls to the paranormal. Like they're
Right.
bounds, yeah, the boundless realm. Yeah, from the Haunted Mansion. But sometimes things do get updated, and it's great because that's ongoing evidence that's being recorded and documented by ongoing investigations. These places aren't once and done. Somebody did it once, and that's it. No one's ever gone back again.
Right.
So, and research is critical to the field. When you're going to investigate a location, you should know the history. You should know something about it
Hmm.
because therefore you have some correspondence to what happens while you're there if something happens, or it might be the opportunity to connect and engage.
Hmm.
Because if someone were to walk into your home and didn't know who you were and just started asking all these randomly weird questions, you'd be like, get out, I'm not talking to you, right?
Right.
So um, why would we want to do that to someone?
Hmm.
So whether we can see them or not, and just because we can't see them doesn't mean they're not there.
Correct.
So we're doing an old Jott-Nyx tagline into that.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. So
No,
yeah, we still have to work on our tagline, Jamie.
I know, I know.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. One step at
Anyway,
a time.
so yeah, there's a lot of cool projects coming up with Jott-Nyx. We're working on some behind the scenes things, and excited to see what happens this year.
Yeah,
So
2025 is just getting started.
that's right.
More to come.
So all right. Well, do you have anything else, Jamie?
I don't. I don't. I'm just going to get started on that manuscript for the Paranormal Night at the Museum. The screenplay, sorry, not the manuscript, the screenplay.
Okay.
So if you can't find me, I'll be over at my electronic typewriter. Um,
I think you should use a manual typewriter, Jamie.
I have, sir. I'm old enough to know that
Oh,
how to
I
do
know.
that.
Me too.
So
I had the portable briefcase typewriter at one point.
I did too. I
So
did too. I was so happy to get a word processor at one
mhm.
point. And life got better,
Yeah.
and now here we are. We just talk to text. So
Yep. Yep.
in the
So,
world,
so
good things. Good things.
all right.
Change is good.
Yep. So next week I'll be talking about the hodl folk as much as possible. So you just you're gonna get a counter and see how many times I
Get
mess
a
it up.
clicker.
Yeah.
I might. All right, Amazon. Let's go. Let's get this started.
So
Uh,
all
Hey,
right.
and guys, one last thing too. Obviously we're here on Tuesday nights at 9. If you're not with us tonight and you're finding us else at another time elsewise, there's a lot of streaming services you'll find us on outside of our Facebook and YouTube channels here with Jott-Nyx Paranormal. If you like an episode, give us a rating, give us some
Mhm.
stars. Drop us a line, a comment. Say hey, good stuff, bad stuff, whatever it may be. We'd love to see 5 stars. We hope we've earned that. But whatever it may be, give us something to let us know how we're doing. We
Mhm.
really appreciate that. We have some commentary here through the episodes with the folks who are live with us, but I know a lot of you are finding us at other times, and it matters, and we appreciate that. And
It does.
again,
So
same thing too. If you're not seeing something you want to see us do, or you have a subject for us, you can leave us a message there as well.
mhm.
We'll certainly see it and get cracking on it. So
Mhm.
we
So
appreciate each and every one of you.
yep. So Bert said he had a chisel and a stone.
Oh man. Oh man.
All right. And Jim,
Oh,
thank you for the comment. We appreciate that.
yeah,
So
thank you.
so
Yeah, good start to the year.
um
Best for you both. Jim, same to you. Happy holidays. And now that you finally got some rest after all the busyness of being Santa for the season, I hope you get some time down and best and brightest New Year coming to you as well.
so
Appreciate you, sir.
all right. Well, on that note, Jamie, I'm gonna go practice saying the word hodl folk, and we'll see you next week at 9 o'clock, right?
We'll be here.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Good night.
Good night.